I'm Gloria Good News, back again with another fabulous edition of, say it with me, KMPCSCTV. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Say it again. KMPCSCTV. Fantastic. We have a jam-packed show today. This week is all about showing kindness. And isn't it great to see all the lovely acts of kindness that we've seen over the past few months that's helping us getting through a tough time? It's great when we stick together and look out for each other, isn't it? This week, Sam and Beth will be teaching us about looking after each other. And we have a brand new memory verse for you to learn. You've been doing a great job. We'll also be getting our craft on with Susan. But first, over to you, Steve, to hear what the Israelites are up to this week.
Well, good morning, boys and girls. It's great to be with you at Sunday Club. It's such a shame that we can't be there together like we normally are on a Sunday morning, but hopefully that will be different soon and that we can meet. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoy the video and what we have to talk about today in Sunday Club. So, I wonder, have you ever heard of a thing called an insulator? Well, in psychology, which I studied at university, an insulator is something that gives context. So, for example, the time something happens at, maybe the clothes that people wear, or the setting that an event happens can be an insulator. It gives you context to that event and helps you frame the event in your mind and feel a sense of place. It helps you understand the environment that you're in. Why am I talking about insulators? Well, I think it's quite important because when insulators are disrupted, so for example, if I went with you guys as Sunday Club to see an orchestra play, and instead of seeing people in bow ties and suits and lovely ball gowns with their instruments on stage, imagine if they were on stage with animals. Imagine they had snorkels and flippers and scuba diving gear, and instead of a program, someone handed you a squirrel. Well, I think you would be quite confused and you would think, well, what is this? But more importantly, you'd probably be asking, where is this? Where am I? And where do I put this event? Where do we place it? Because I think that when our standard reference points, our insulators, are disrupted, that's when we start to use words like faith or I don't know, I just had a sense. And I think that that's where we find a couple of the characters in our story today in a place where their expectations, their insulators, and the things that they thought that were going to happen are completely disrupted by God's plan. So we're looking at the book of Joshua. And in this first couple of chapters, our character Moses, who has led his people out of Israel, out of Egypt, the Israelites, towards the promised land, has died, and a new leader has come on the scene, Joshua. And that's where we pick up all of the action here. Joshua is about to lead those people into the land that God promised he would give them, just over the River Jordan. He tells the people to pack up camp, and in a couple of days, they're going to head into that land. But there's a problem. There are people in that land, people that they're going to have to fight to get that land from. Now, they know that God's going to be with them, but they send out spies. So Joshua sends out 2 spies, and the spies go to the big city of Jericho. When they get there, they realize that the city has absolutely huge walls, 2 stories high and probably about 2 stories deep. Walls that would be very hard for an army to penetrate. So what do? They do the sensible thing and they befriend a local woman called Rahab. They stay in Rahab's house. But just at this point, when you think the story is starting to look quite straightforward and that they might be getting somewhere, their insulators are entirely disrupted. Their sense of place is totally thrown out because they get news that the king knows that they are in the city. They know what will happen if they get caught. They will be immediately killed. So the king's men arrive at Rahab's house, and Rahab, of course, gives them up, and they're killed. No, wait, totally different story. So what actually happens is Rahab, she lies to the king's men. So Rahab is an inhabitant of that city, and she protects the men by hiding them on the roof of her house under plants. It's quite an amazing story. She even tells the guards or the king's men that the spies have left the city, and if they follow them in a certain direction, they might even catch up with them. So off the king's men go, and they're after the spies. But Rahab then brings the spies down, and she explains what she's done. The spies, of course, are indebted to her and very grateful. She tells them something quite amazing, and this is where the insulators, I think, would be totally blown away. She tells them that not only does she want to help them, but that she knows that their God, the God of Israel, is going to give them the victory in this battle and give them the city. That's quite an amazing thing. She's also heard about the battles that they have won because of God whilst being in the wilderness. So when those men, those spies, needed help and needed a friend, it came from the most unlikely of places in Rahab. And that's where she displayed great faith, great courage, and the spies were saved. So she helped the spies get back out of the city by lowering them out the window. They went back to the camp, told Joshua about everything, and when the Israelites took that city, they saved Rahab and her family. She hung a red cord out the window just like they instructed, and they were saved. I wonder what things that brings up in your mind. Where do you place yourself in that story? I think that the best thing we can do is think about times when we find ourselves like those spies, perhaps when our insulators and the things that we frame our world with and set it in context are completely disrupted. When things like that happen, I hope that you know that you will always have a friend in Jesus, and that Jesus is faithful to his people. He's always there, and like the spies, when those people came, they were protected. I hope that you know that you can call on Jesus for help, and that he will answer that help. Sometimes that help might come from an entirely unexpected place, and sometimes you might even be the person that offers that help to someone else. I would encourage you to try and read the story in Joshua chapter 1 and chapter 2. It's a fascinating story, and Rahab is mentioned a couple of times in the New Testament as an example of great faith and great courage. So, although we can't be together today, I hope that this video gives you some courage. I hope it gives you some hope. And I hope that as you go about your week this week, you know that God is with you, and that all you need to do is ask, and he will be there. So it's with great sadness that we can't be together, but great hope that we look forward to the time when we can. Hopefully see you soon, and I'll be thinking about all of you and praying for you until we can meet again.
This is harder than I thought. that's okay.
Are you sure you don't need some help?
Yeah. Man, this is hard work.
I could help, you know.
Beth, I have to do it myself.
You don't always have to do everything by yourself, Sam. God gives us other people to help us. Remember that time you helped me when I fell off my bike?
Oh yeah, your knee looked awful.
But I really needed your help. You pushed my bike home for me and I got a plaster.
I guess I did help you that day.
You certainly did. And now I can help you with your present.
But you can't.
Why not?
Okay, I guess I do need help.
See, that wasn't so bad.
Thanks for your help.
You're welcome, Sam. It looks beautiful.
I'm glad you think so. Happy birthday, Beth.
Thanks, Sam.
Hello everyone. Today we're going to do a memory verse, okay? Now this one, it's fairly straightforward, but it's a long one and there's a couple of big words. So the two big words we've got are discouraged and courageous. Now, discouraged is maybe we feel a bit nervous about doing something because we don't want to get it wrong or we don't want to embarrass ourselves. Being courageous is when, even though we have those feelings, even though we are nervous or a bit fearful, we decide it's the right thing to do and we carry on and we do it anyway. But when that happens, you don't have to do it alone, because as it says Joshua 1 verse 9, the Lord your God will be with you. So, running through this nice and slowly, the memory verse is, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. That's from Joshua 1 verse 9. So we'll have a go now doing it all together. So, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1 verse 9. So, once again, louder this time. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. That's Joshua 1 verse 9. So, do we think we're getting the hang of that? Let's try and make it a bit more difficult now. So, we'll blank out that word. Blank out that word. Blank out that. Blank out that. Okay, so we'll give this a go now, see who remembers. So ready? 1, 2, 3. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1 verse 9. Now, hopefully you all got that. We'll go through it again, a bit quicker this time, see if you can fill in the blanks as I go along. So, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1 verse 9. Finally, we'll take these off. I'll do it one more time. Nice and loud. Okay, so we're ready? 1, 2, 3. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1 verse 9. Well done, everyone. Thank you. Goodbye.
Good morning, everybody. How are you? I hope you're having a lovely weekend. I hope you're feeling happy. Sometimes we don't always feel happy. I know with all this coronavirus, it's all been a wee bit strange out there, hasn't it? Wearing masks, maybe having to come out of school or friends are out of school. Maybe you have to stay in the house for a while. And maybe you're feeling a wee bit fed up with the whole thing. I know of late I've been a bit grumpy. I've been a wee bit fed up and sometimes I haven't been thankful for everything that I have. It made me think about being thankful. We have so much to be thankful for, and sometimes we just take it for granted and we forget to say thank you. So this morning I thought we'd do a craft where we remember to be thankful to God for all the things that He has given us. There's lots of verses in the Bible that tell us to be thankful, and we should try harder to be thankful. I'm going to show you something I made. I made this little jar. Hopefully you can see there it says thankful on the front, and it's been decorated. And I'm going to set this jar on my windowsill and ask everybody in the house to think during the week about things to be thankful for. I leave a pad of paper beside it, and they can write something on the paper and put in the bit of paper every time they think of something to be thankful for. And then next weekend we can stop, sit down and have a look at what's on the paper and see so many things that we have to be thankful for. So I'll tell you what you need to make this. You're going to need either an empty tin can from a can of beans or tomatoes, or an empty jam jar. This is a great big one, it doesn't have to be this big. You're also going to need a Pritt stick or some PVA glue, or you could even use sellotape. And then I want you to look around your house for anything you might have to decorate your jar with. Something like wrapping paper, or we'd a block of coloured paper in the house, or maybe you would have some stickers lying around that you could use. The other thing you could use is something like something like a patterned napkin. So you need to put on the outside of your can or your jar, just put some Pritt stick or PVA glue and then decorate it with whatever you want. I made another one which is slightly different. It's a funny looking bird, just with some feathers and a coloured napkin on the back. So why don't you think about making a thankfulness jar, setting it somewhere, telling your family what to do, and then next weekend have a big smile on your face when you look and see all those great things you have to be thankful for.